Okay, we're in the middle greenhouse. It's the middle of winter, so it's January, where we have been upgrading the greenhouses and going through all of the stock. That's taken some months actually doing that, and when we're going to extend the greenhouses and have the distribution networks. I'll show you now some of the things that we've been working on, some of what's new, some interesting things that are in flower, and some of the newest things to come into the collection. Introduce you to the team at various different places. Shane's going to give us a tour of his growing area, and you can see the greenhouse. He's putting one up his place at the moment, and you can see all the trials and tribulations of that. So what we're going to talk about first is the display area. Okay, so this has changed a lot since, first of all, the electrics last year. After that failed and we lost most of the plants in here, the electrics completely failed. Of course, you all know the story. I'm not going to go over it again. Then I relayed this when we did the stock take, and actually I spent Christmas and New Year's and Boxing Day rebuilding the trees. I've got a little bit to do. I'm going to make that branch go up there to the top, and this branch is going to, so it comes right out now, and it's going to go up, right up there to the roof. It's quite a high greenhouse, this one, and that gets it ready for when the extension's going to be done, because where that is there, middle greenhouse, is going to become a doorway. So we've got down here just some plants. This is all changing. Nick's back with the business. It's nice to have Nick back. And for those of you that remember, Nick was helping the business a lot back in 2015, 2016, 2017. He used to put up those big, massive epiphytic displays of the trees with us. That was his responsibility, and he's passionate mostly about Costa Rican orchids from Monteverde. He fell in love with it like I fell in love with Sumatra when he was there. First thing to have a look at is this Trichotosia. I picked up 2 plants recently from Sarah. Thank you, Sarah. And I have been looking for this for a while because I found it in the wild when I was in Sumatra last, and ever since I've been looking for it. Where I found it though, I found it growing. All the books tell you it's terrestrial, and I actually found it. I'll put an image on the vid here. I found it growing as an epiphyte on the trees, but in the stunted cloud forest. So bright light, but bright filtered light, because of course it's filtering through clouds, and really wet, like ultra wet. So I'm trying to mimic that at the moment. I've got one growing down here as a terrestrial and one up here as an epiphyte, but that's actually going to be put onto the tree. So we'll see how that goes. The Aeschynanthus, some of them have moved over. You can see the speciosus there, absolutely loving the new spot that it's in. Look at that, it's just gone wild. Even the last week and a half, that's the new growth. That's just phenomenal since I put that in. That's since Boxing Day. That's a new plant for me. It's one of Shane's that he's divided up. It's a I can't pronounce it. Spirosferum buxifolium. It's one of the tropical blueberries. This here is epic. This is an Aeschynanthus you just don't see around very much. It is. Let's zoom in on it. That is parviflorus, and it's got really interesting, like, it's much smaller leaves, and of course they're all epiphytes, these things in flower at the moment. So purchased probably from as Ceratostema ruhii. Of course, as with most things from turned out to not be ruhii. Label's never right. And there we go. It's there's the flower. There are some, tried to find out what this was on the internet. There's a species floating around that's not really, it's not real. They call it Velosa. It's probably another explanation, and no such species actually exists. So actually I've been through the key to the genus and trying to have a look to see what it possibly could be. So it's either a novel species meaning it's a new species, or it's a little known species represented by only a couple of collections in herbarium. What is also interesting is that Shane has also bought this Ceratostema ruhii before in the past from, and his is actually a different plant again. And we've had this twice now with plants we've bought, tropical plants from for the past. I don't buy from them anymore, of course, we all know that story. This here is Columnia bremneri, and again another genus that I absolutely love, Gesneraceae, and yellow flowers, and of course it's an epiphyte. We've featured this one before, but at the moment the flowering has gone past its best, but it was looking amazing there for a while. Another plant to point out is this, something that I got from Shane. It's one of the liana vines, and you can see it's growing up now up the tree, so it'll look really cool when that grows up and then out. Another one is a tropical fuchsia we got growing here, a little micro thing, pretty. I'm slowly getting into these. In fact, the genus, my next big thing after tropical blueberries, I think is going to be a genus of Rubiaceae called Hylia. I love them. Oh my gosh. If you haven't looked them up before, look them up. Another one to draw your attention to is this one. These are new. These just came through from our latest import that we did with Francis from India. Imported as Agapetes serpens. Agapetes is another tropical blueberry. They're definitely not serpens. I'll show you a real serpens in a minute. The leaves are completely the wrong shape. In fact, it looks more like this one, which is Agapetes saligna, bright red flowers. Again, all tropical blueberries, and they're pretty things, but actually we think this one up here could be Agapetes moorei. In fact, we're sure of it, but we really have to wait for flowers to come out. As with the Ceratostema here, we had to wait for that one to flower before I could then go through the keys to the genus, because you have to go right down to the detail of, you know, with Ceratostema, the filaments coming out the end there are always equal to the end of the corolla, which is the petals which are fused and then they split, you can see. So you have to go down to the minute detail, and in fact with Ceratostema you've even got to go further and have a look to see if there's papillae on the basal parts. But anyway, this area is looking really good at the moment. We're happy with it, and it's still got a long way to go, and we'll show you some more as other plants come into flower and we develop this further. Say hello to Tommy. Hi, everyone. And there we go. Tommy's new with the business, and Tommy, tell everyone what you're doing.
Just potting up some orchids that we're splitting off from the other ones. Just getting everything potted up and ready for the spring.
Is it any Carinata Carinata Schultzii maybe? God knows.
Currently, I think.
Oh, there we go. We have to wait for this one to flower. Yeah. These ones as well, they'll just sit there like that, and then they'll just wait for the right moment, and then they'll open. Just keep flowering. So what are your favourite plants? What do you like the most?
Really like succulents and cactuses. That's my favourite sort of stuff. I really like carnivorous plants like this as well. But I'm learning quite a lot, and I'm growing to love orchids as well as I learn more about them. And really, I love all plants. I love trees as well. I love trees.
Here's one of the stock plants of Dendrochilum. This is one that it was always an unknown species, and then it started flowering, and then I took photos of it, and Henrik Pedersen was able to also help me identify that it was the poorly known Dendrochilum uncatum, variety longus picatum, and which had never been photographed before. And so now I've actually got a fair few plants of it, but I don't know of anyone else. There may be a plant of this in Australia, not sure, but as far as I'm aware, I'm the only one that's got this plant. And I think I've given a couple of plants to people here in the UK, and I'm not sure if we've listed it yet on the website or not, but if we haven't, we should. Here's another interesting one. This is, I mean, it's not the most exciting of Coelogynes, but I like this whole section. This is Coelogyne sulcata, and it's a pretty little thing. It's been in flower for quite a long time. Not sure how long the flowers on that last. It's the first time I flowered that one. It's a recent addition. Or there's Dendrochilum Coetzii, which is about to open. This is all the national collection of This is Pleurothallis colossus growing here. So I think it's the largest species in this genus, and certainly one of the largest pleurothallids. Spectacular flowering. I can't even count how many there are there. I've got 3 plants of this, soon to be divided. Very similar to Steelus or Pleurothallis dapsilus, of which I still would love to get a division of my plant back. I got rid of it, gave it to Trish up in the Midlands when I was packing up and moving back to Australia some years ago. But this is beautiful. Genuine plants of Dendrochilum oxylobum. There are a few of them out there. It's hard to find anyway, but a lot of them actually are just longifolium, which actually, you know, getting good clones and genuine plants of Dendrochilum longifolium is also quite not the easiest thing to always find. Some of them turn out to be lacifolium. What else have we got? Here we go. Another new arrival. We'll take the tray out actually. These are still settling in. So what we've got here are some plants. Procris repens along with Nephelaphyllum tenuifolium. That Nephelaphyllum is one that you just don't see. You may see pulchrum around occasionally, but definitely not this species, although it is more widespread throughout Southeast Asia. The Procris are going to be available soon, and the Nephelaphyllums got some initial slug damage, but will be around soon. And you can see the problem I had with slugs, which was what has led me. Actually, that's still got recent slugs. Led me to putting all this copper wire down. I think it has worked wonders. You know, the greenhouse would be overrun by now, but there still will be slugs in the potting soil of some of the plants. You know, you never know them. That's why, you know, if you buy a plant, it's always good really just to, you know, check. I bought a plant recently from a nursery and it had vine weevils in it, you know, and you can't have a go at the nursery, you know, they've got a lot of things to do. And but it's up to us as buyers to check the plants. There's our cosmianthums, just 2 here now. Shane's looking after the others at his. That's a piper, and Shane's got others at his as well. We're growing them in different ways at the moment. Even one of our other recent new arrivals, which are going to be listed, these will be listed as a coming soon plant very soon. You can see they're coming up out the ground. Rhoicissus, it's an aroid. I've even given Tommy a plant to take home so that we can check to see, well, how, you know, you can actually grow that outdoors as a garden plant in the UK. Not many people know that, but it'll just drop its leaves when the frosts come. But yeah, so we're checking to see how it grows in all different varying conditions. There's some Australian terrestrials there. Not sure if we're going to get flowers this year. They're probably not getting enough light where they are there anyway. I should have them on the other side.
This is Shane with Orchid Botanics, and we are in the process of replacing one of our greenhouses. This is a lovely winter build, and let me tell you, it is cold. Whilst I love polycarbonate greenhouses and they hold in heat really well, this greenhouse here is up on the top of a hill. It's very windy, so this is a glass house build. I'm thinking that I will substitute some of the panels with polycarbonate. It's very, very important to take the polycarbonate and tape the ends of them, because between the polycarbonate there's air. That air heats up and that air will transfer and also hold heat within the greenhouse. With a glass house, yes, you can lose lots of heat, but no doubt I will then put polycarb over the glass on the roof so that I get that heat coming in, or I might put the polycarb underneath. So this so far is the build. It's a big construction site right now. It's a mess. There are plants everywhere and there are bits everywhere, but it will look absolutely fantastic when it's done. And this is where a lot of our propagation goes on here.
Oh, this is a big job at the moment. We are clearing out the or cutting up all the coelogyne, the big coelogyne plants. They were all growing just down there, and it looked like a wild forest. So now we're doing all our mossy pole things with them all, and they're going up. Mossy poles, that's that looks like it could be. There's a load of them. That's probably Sanderiana, the mossy poles. There's a load down there in the corner that we're working on. I think that's it for the middle greenhouse now. And moving over into the rest of it, we've moved the potting bench around. That stuff that I need to work through, I've just chucked it all on there because that's going to have the excess National Collection plants from within there, because it is looking a little crowded, and you don't want pots too crowded together. You can't see what's going on. Like before, I didn't see that the Dendrochilums are in flower. It shouldn't be like that. You're not really enjoying your plants, as well as you could actually be inviting problems. Oh, this is just the last flowering of Dendrochilum hampelii. It's this is the plant that's come from the holotype, the plant that made the holotype. That's just finishing. It's just a tomentosa. There's an assamica that's just about to flower. In here, we've got little propagation boxes. This is what I do when we deflask things, or when they come in new. They go into live. This is proper live sphagnum. This isn't like the stuff that you buy on the internet saying live, and it's not actually live. Live is green, it's actively growing, and it's usually just skimmed off the top layer. Now in here are there's some Corybas. There's all the Corybas tubers are growing in here. That's one of the species. There's a fair few of them. You can see all the tubers. There's some others. What have we got coming into life here? I need to actually get into this one. Some other things happening in here, but yeah, this is all really exciting. Now this will all go eventually, it's going to go into mostly Shane's way with all the propagation. I think there's a really good flower actually of Dendrochilum cobbianum. It's our stock plant. Lots of flower spikes on that. They also go on the other side as well. So happy with that one. It's quite nice flowering. This time of year is always good because you get, you know, the flowerings from the Dendrochilums are always good. This is definitely the best clone I have of Coelogyne assamica. The flowers are about twice the size of the other clones I have. I just can't cope with the scent from this species. It is way too much for me. Way too floral and sweet. This is currently my favorite plant in my collection of plants. Can't stop looking at it every time I go into the greenhouse. It's a tropical blueberry from the cloud forest of Costa Rica. In fact, this is a form particular to Monteverde and that area. This is this one here is, we just don't know. This was again bought as a Serat Steamer. It's one of the, I don't know where Shane got it from, potentially Ecuador. But they all sell these things incorrectly. These Ecuadorian suppliers, I'm not sure. Equiflora don't have Serat Steamer on their product list, but yeah, we suspect it could be, like, you look at the habit there, it's looking like a Themistoclesia, whatever, however you pronounce it, put the name up. But it could be, it does fit within the description of Flexuosa, which is not a Serat Steamer. Lots of new growth coming on. We just have to wait for it to flower. Shane's is very different again, the plant that he's got. Is it a Serat Steamer? I couldn't find anything that fits, although there's two species I haven't been able to find the original descriptions of yet. So we just don't know yet. It could be anything. There's another one of those recently imported Agapetes. It could be, we think it is probably likely to be moorei. The Amorphophallus are actually still doing well. That supplier that sold me the Spectabolus, which turned out to be some unknown species, probably a Thai species. We sort of, I don't even know if that's a genuine decus-silvae. You know, it's I mean, the patterning on the leaf, on the stem, would not be enough, the marbling effect, for me to be able to tell. But I was going to have a look. We are going to do some filming up at the Amorphophallus National Collection, so I'll probably take my photos up there and validate, you know, that I paid $160 for that Spectabolus tuber from Java. You know, and when you're spending that kind, I don't mind misidentified plants when you're not paying very much for it. But if you're paying an obscene amount of money for something rare and then it turns out not to be it, you know, you need some kind of an assurance. And you know, this guy started accusing me of trying to fake what I was doing to get money out of it. It's just like, come on, man, just stop it. I've been doing plants a lot longer than you, and you know, there's parviflorus about to flower, and you know, it's just not fair, you know. And if you know, as a seller, you know, if I that's Trichotosia pinks in flower. It's been in flower for months. This thing just non-stop, and get this right. Yeah. So with the you know, if I plant of Agapetes serpens, you can see that what we imported from India is very different. They look remarkably different when you put them next to each other. And so yeah, they're definitely not the same species. And so yeah, so that one, the one that we imported is moorei. But look at the new growth. That's just in a couple of weeks. That's a greenhouse, bright light. So yeah, seeing really good results as a result of growing in brighter light and just that little bit warmer. And I had a lot of them sitting out in the back greenhouse, which, you know, is probably, you know, it is getting down to like 7, 8, 9 degrees in there. So whereas in here, the heating kicks in when it gets to 16 degrees or so, and then it will kick in, and then it turns off when it gets to 19, and that, you know, that's how I do the heating in here. And that's very, very similar to temperatures at night time at around, you know, 1800, 2000 meters, 1700 meters of what I've experienced in Southeast Asia. So actually, I'm giving these things, and a lot of these plants grow, a lot of these tropical blueberries, and you know, even Pleurothallis grow at those sorts of elevations. That actually, sometimes I think I'm probably growing some of these things a bit colder than what I should be. That's a good view of the greenhouse. But yeah, that's it. We're still going to keep this main walkway when we do the extensions. But yeah, you'll go through there the right, and then you'll turn right, and right on the other side of that wall is where the all the arid plants are going to go.